Hello. I have a good amount of handhelds in my collection, whether they be emulation focused for retro gaming or, the real deal. When it comes to emulating GameCube and PS2, I usually resort to my handheld PCs, like this big guy, but more specifically my Steam Deck. The biggest hurdle with the Steam Deck being like my personal PS2 game portable device is it's not very portable. I like to travel a lot. I need that extra space in my bag, especially when I'm on a plane. Like, that is the space that I need. I also tried out the Anbernic 406V, which can run GameCube, and it is way smaller, but it definitely struggled. I think the technology just wasn't really there yet for emulation handhelds, and a lot of Android games just wouldn't really run on it. It was like an in-between. It was like we were almost there, but not really. But all of this on top of wanting a portable device that can run lighter Steam games and also beefier emulation, why'd I say it like that? It seemed pretty much impossible until the Thor. Oh my god, I am so active in the retro handheld space, right? It is probably like my most watched video genre. When this thing was revealed, I pretty much immediately was like, yep, I need it. I need it right now. I was beyond excited for the Thor. I was watching every freaking review video, every little speculation thing. Back when Retroid released the Pocket Flip, I was all for it because I just really wanted a beefier clamshell handheld. I'm just a sucker for clamshells. I don't know if it's like a nostalgia thing or if it's just because I prefer it. I mean, you don't really need a carrying case for something that's a clamshell, you know? You barely even need a case on it. I just put a case on it because I like to decorate. But anyway, after a month of waiting, because I got into batch 2 for the pre-orders, after a month, I finally got it, and I'm going to tell you about pretty much everything that's been going on. As I'm recording this bit of the video, I've only had it for 2 days, but it looks like I've had it for a month, so we're gonna go through this. My first impression, unboxing the Thor. Oh my god. They were very positive, to say the least. AYN did a good job at making sure the user experience felt premium from simply looking at the box. I bought the Max model in white because I plan to use this handheld for a while and I didn't want it to become outdated super quickly, but I do plan to play PC games on this thing, and so this just kind of felt like a really good investment. And the handheld itself feels just as premium. I mean, the hinge doesn't feel fragile, like, at all. I personally think that the angles it has by default are pretty good. I've seen some people compare it to the DS and they say like, oh well, it's slightly too down. I haven't had a problem with that yet, and I use the 3DS a lot. It really hasn't bothered me. Also, the joysticks are surprisingly comfortable. I feel like with a clamshell it is really difficult to get the joysticks to look like this and feel like this, but it is pretty good. And the buttons and the D-pad, phenomenal, amazing, no complaints. You might have heard of the triggers of the Thor if you've been watching videos about the Thor. If I'm one of the videos that you're watching while you're waiting or deciding if you want a Thor, I'm honored. The triggers are very 50-50. Now, personally, they are at a bit of a weird angle. I feel like the tips of the triggers just kind of jab into your finger a bit, but I low-key am getting used to it. It's definitely not like the most comfortable trigger in the world, but as someone who has had a 3DS, but as someone who uses 3DSs pretty frequently, I'm definitely getting used to it. It's not the worst. I mean, I've been playing a lot of first-person shooters on it. It is not the worst. Also, it's not bigger or smaller than I thought it was going to be. I knew it was slightly smaller than a 3DS XL, but bigger than an original 3DS. But in photos, it always looked like a new 3DS, if you know what I mean. It just looked smaller, but I knew it wasn't small. In my opinion, this feels like the perfect in-between. Let's move on to the setup. Typically, with devices like these, you expect to spend days and days setting it up until it's perfect. I really wanted to see how much I could realistically figure out and set up with minimal outside information and Googling, because I wanted to see just like how easy is it really to set this up. Now, I have watched many a YouTube video about it, so I know about different launchers and stuff, but I didn't really watch like how to set up the launchers and different emulators. So pretty much right out of the box, I started downloading Android apps, anything off the Play Store, like on my music apps, my streaming services, all the mobile games I want to play. This is an Android device, so obviously it runs the little Android space by default. But once all my apps were downloaded, I decided to download Cocoon. Cocoon is a launcher that basically turns your Thor into a full-on console experience. It feels familiar as someone who has used a 3DS, but it also feels so new that it's like the perfect middle ground. And the installation process was super easy, by the way. I didn't need to look anything up about how to set up Cocoon besides just looking up the download link. But I went to the developer's GitHub page, downloaded the APK file, and the entire onboarding process of this app was so good. I really am perfectly fine with a lot of the default settings, but I got everything set up almost immediately. Cocoon is super customizable, but in a really easy way and not a complicated, like, I need to watch 5 videos way. I looked up some wallpapers off of Google, I set them for the top and bottom screen, and I think it looks really good. This thing also supports wallpaper engine, which I don't want to figure out right now, but that is really cool that it does that. I'm really liking the vibe I have. I'm definitely going to be looking into the wallpaper engine stuff, maybe later in this video, I don't know yet. But when it comes to the emulators, it was also pretty straightforward. I downloaded Dolphin for GameCube and Wii, obviously. GameHub for PC, but I eventually went on to use Game Native, which I'll get to. Azahar for 3DS, and Melon DS for DS. I haven't gotten to PSP, Game Boy Advance yet. Nothing like that yet. I just kind of wanted to get into the beefy stuff. Cocoon was able to read my ROMs pretty quickly, and it made these cute little folders for each emulator that I could get it to read right off the bat, and I just think that is so cool and that is so cute. It also gives you these really cute little 3DS like banners for the games that it just automatically scraped the artwork from, and I love it. I found out just how easy it is to actually customize the little banners. I figured that out today actually. Like I said, today's my second day with this thing. Like, it's just so cute. But all you need is the game logo, like a transparent picture of the logo, a pretty background to use as the background, or I believe it calls it the hero, and an icon for the home screen. You just drop these into their designated little spots and it just works. It's amazing. While we're still talking about Cocoon, I'd love to take a moment to share that this UI has menu music, and it sounds straight out of the 3DS era. It's so good. Take a listen. It also has Discord integration. So when you're playing a game, it'll show up on your profile and it will show you like what console you're emulating, what platform you're on, and if you have Discord friends that have Cocoon installed already, they will just show up on your friends list. It is so cute, and I just can't get over how good this UI is. I thought I was gonna be into Isu, and to be fair, I haven't tried Isu yet, but I low-key don't want to try it just yet because I'm enjoying Cocoon just as much. Like, I don't feel a need to try anything else right now, but maybe I'll get to it. I don't know. You can tell there's so much passion behind it, and I love it so much. And honestly, I'm really excited to see what else they do with it because it is just that good. But anyway, before we continue with more game talk, let's talk about the accessories and the decoration because I'm crazy. It's basically a tradition at this point to make any of my handheld feel unique to me, and that was my mission with the Thor. I mean, if you've been taking a glimpse, yeah, I got a pack of these dual tipped styluses. One tip is like a little nylon tip, and I really like it because it's not super squishy like those rubber tip ones you see a lot of people use, but it's also not like solid, so that's good. And the other side has this little magnet, and it reveals one of these styluses that you usually see for like drawing, or at least more precision based stuff, and I really like it so far. I haven't used it enough, but I'm going to test this with The World Ends With You, which I feel is like the perfect DS game to really test how this thing glides across the screen. But yeah, I really like it. I know I've seen people have the ones that stick onto the back of the Thor because they're portable and you can just put it on the case, but those are the rubber tipped ones that I'm not really a fan of, so I just opted for a more like Apple Pencil sort of one, and I really like it so far. I kind of want to draw on this thing. I'm curious about what making art on the Thor is like. You know what? Maybe that's something I gotta add to the video. Do I draw on this thing? I might have to draw on this thing now. Oh my god. But anyway, I also got AYN's case for the Thor, which I think looks pretty great. I mean, it fits perfectly well. It's from AYN, so, you know, I didn't really know what else I expected. It's pretty solid. It's like a soft rubber. I kind of expected it to be a hard shell that would like have to click into place, but there's nothing wrong with it being like a soft. It is all good. The stickers are where this thing got messy though. I have a ton of sticker books that I got on AliExpress. If you've seen my previous videos, you already have seen these before. I saw someone on TikTok cut out clear plastic strips and use it as like a face plate to put your stickers on and just slide it into the case. I don't know why I never thought of this. I will credit the person who I got this idea from, but this is absolutely game changing. After about 30 minutes of stickers, this is the outcome and it looks super clean. I am super happy with this, it looks super clean. I'm really happy with how it looks. I'm really glad I went for like the black and white stickers. I think it just looks really great. And I also don't have a handheld that has the black and white look, so looks great to me. We're gonna move on to PC games. One reason I got the Max model was to see if most of the games I play on my Steam Deck can actually run on this. My range of games I play are light, you know, your basic indie cozy girl game. I mostly play Fields of Mystria, and that thing is just begging to be on a handheld in my opinion. And the end of the range, at least on my Steam Deck because other games just won't run on it, are like Halo. Dead Zone Rogue is one I really want to get running on here because that game can kind of run on a potato. I started by trying out GameHub, which worked really well for lighter games like Fields of Mystria. And in my opinion, please don't come for me, I feel like GameHub just has the better UI, but a lot of games I wanted to run were just struggling. Stuff like Dead Zone Rogue and Halo, which I've heard runs, by the way. I could get through the menus just fine, but when actually trying to load into a game, it just was not working. For Dead Zone Rogue, it would just get stuck on the loading screen, and for the Master Chief Collection, it would get to the loading screen and then just boot you back to the main menu, so I don't know. GameHub also just wouldn't really sync my Steam cloud saves, so that was really annoying. The final nail in the coffin for GameHub to me was the fact that Cocoon couldn't recognize GameHub to put their icons on the home screen so that I could just go straight into the game and not have to go through an app to launch the game. That's a thing that Cocoon can do, so I didn't know why it wasn't running or reading GameHub. So I decided to go for Game Native today instead, and surprisingly, it worked just fine. Cocoon could read oh my god, these names are confusing me. Cocoon could read Game Native just fine. And the developers of Cocoon made a separate app that could link the Steam game to make a shortcut for your home screen. I don't know why it wasn't working with GameHub, but it works fine with native, so you know what? We're using Game Native now. Game Native ended up working damn near perfect. Fields of Mystria, smooth as butter, arguably a little bit smoother than with GameHub, surprisingly. It just looks like it was meant for a handheld like this. I love it so much. I don't think I can play Fields of Mystria any other way now. Unfortunately, it looks like Dead Zone Rogue still really run, but I'm not giving up on it just yet. A game that did surprise me was Project Diva Mega Mix, which ran smoother than butter on the AYN Thor. This game lagged on my Steam Deck. The timing though of the button presses, because you know it's a rhythm game, it was really bad. I had to spend like 30 minutes trying to change the configuration so that it would be on beat, because the game running natively is perfectly fine. Everything is fine. It is just the timing of the buttons, which is always difficult to get on a rhythm game, but I've never had it default to something this bad. I got it kind of close, but not close enough to where I can like really play it mindlessly. I think I'll have to mess with it a little bit longer though. I also had to change the input to the Xbox controller input because it just kept saying I was using the wrong buttons, but the D-pad buttons were fine. I also use PlayStation layout because that's just the correct way in my opinion. But yeah, no, Project Diva needs a lot of tweaking, but the game itself runs beautifully. As for emulation though, this thing is a beast. So far, as of day 2, I have mostly been playing PS2 and GameCube as my emulation games. I've been on a little bit of a James Bond craze with my fiance recently. We started with the Daniel Craig movies and we're working our way backwards. I know that's super weird, but just bear with me. I heard that 007 Nightfire was actually a at least decent game. I played a little bit of GoldenEye and I was like, you know what? I kind of want something new to play. And I've been playing Nightfire very little by little, but I've been playing it and it's surprisingly really fun and it looks great. It looks amazing on the AYN Thor. I even had to do a comparison because I couldn't decide if I wanted to play the GameCube version or the PS2 version. The only difference besides, you know, like the GameCube version looking just barely lesser than the PS2 version is the HUD doesn't stretch on the GameCube version, but the difference is so minimal. I just stuck to the PS2 version because I really liked how the snow fell in the first level, but PS2 I have had zero problems with so far. I've also played a little bit of Need for Speed Underground 2. I think that's one of my favorite Need for Speed games from this era. I played it on GameCube and I knew that the other versions looked better, so I played the PS2 version. It looks really great. It runs really great. No problem so far. I took my Thor to campus and I played a little bit of Automodelista. I don't know which one it actually is, but I've been wanting to play this game for so long. I played the GameCube version. Again, smooth as butter. This is really poor gameplay because I was still trying to figure out the controls, so sorry that I'm playing it so bad. But I also didn't have anything to prop my phone up, so you know, you're just gonna have to bear with it. Emulation is absolutely amazing. I have yet to try the 3DS and DS games, which I know a lot of people want to see, so we're gonna get to that later in the video. The emulators I definitely need to look up though, so you know. As for mobile games, so far I've only played Destiny Rising. I'm going to try out Where Winds Meet because I didn't even know it had a mobile port. Destiny Rising is okay. I really like the gameplay of it. It kind of feels like if the writers of modern Fire Emblem decided to take over for Bungie, which is not a bad thing. I like Fire Emblem. I like Bungie. I'm literally a marathon creator. But you know, what I mean is just, it is so obviously not made by Bungie, but it looks really great. It runs really great. I think I'm gonna play more of it. I'm a little intrigued. So you know what? I don't think it's just alright. I think it's good. But as of day 2, I think this is one of the greatest things I've ever bought. The setup, amazing. Everything has just been just so smooth. I love the Thor. This thing is gonna go on road trips with me everywhere. That kind of concludes my thoughts of day 1 and 2. I'll be back for the other days, but so far I am having an absolute blast with the Thor. Was it worth nearly $500 for the max model? Maybe. I'm having so much fun. I didn't even mention that you can just play freaking anything you want. I have clips of me just playing music while playing games on it. It is so good. I love it. Okay, let's move on. So funny story. It's actually been like a week. I got a little distracted. Marathon came out, you know, we'll get back to that though. I really want to show you the setup that I have for the AYN Thor right now. We've already seen the case. Nothing's really changed with it. I have this little keychain that I got from Quality Finds. If you know, you know. We open her up and here is the setup right now. I've already had a lot of people ask me about this setup, so we're gonna do like a little more in depth about it. Also, this is the stylus I ended up getting. A little bit closer look at it. I did do a couple tests with 3DS games, which we will get to, and this stylus is honestly super good for what it does. It's very good for DS games. So anyway, Cocoon Launcher has been the smoothest experience ever. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I feel like everything is pretty self-explanatory. A lot of the settings are just really simple to understand, and it was pretty much download it and you already have everything set. Of course, you know, like you gotta set up your ROMs and your emulators, but that's not what Cocoon really is. It's just the launcher for everything. I've been playing a lot of PC games on here. I've been playing a lot of Billionaire, which is like if Balatro was pachinko machines, and I love it. I also have other PC games like Cuisinier, Dave the Diver, Field of Mystria. Dead Zone Rogue still won't work, but I'll find a way. Ball X Pit as well. I also downloaded Pico 8 on here. And we added a couple more emulators. I added some games from a certain console that I do not want to name. But if you're curious, it does run really well. Emulation for the, what we'll say, NX is still in a very rough spot. So emulating it on a handheld like this, even if it's powerful enough to do so, not all games are fully optimized. But for the most part, a lot of games run really well. For example, this game runs really well on the AYN Thor, in case you were wondering. But I do kind of want to showcase how DS games run, especially with a stylus like this. I found myself enjoying using this one a little more. It feels a little more like using a DS. The first 3DS game I wanted to test was Kid Icarus Uprising. I am using the emulator Azahar for 3DS games, and the games are scaled up 4 times native resolution. I'll admit Azahar and Melon DS I did need tutorials for. However, they were really easy to understand, and if you're curious about it, I highly recommend that you figure that out. As of where to get your ROMs, honestly, you know, that's not something I can really share, and the website I use is getting taken down soon anyway, so you are gonna have to look it up. I know it's really annoying to hear people say that, because sometimes looking it up, like, kind of gives you nothing. It takes a little bit of digging. For 3DS and DS games though, if you are like me and you have a ton of Nintendo DS and 3DS games physically, if you have a modded 3DS, and I assume a DSi can do this too, you can dump the ROMs from your cartridge and use them in emulators. It's a little more complicated than just finding it online and downloading it, but I have done it before. Once you figure it out, it is pretty simple. I do have Kid Icarus Uprising physically. I didn't transfer my save, but you know, I have it on here. I don't really mind replaying this game. I really like this game anyway. But let's do the first level, and I can kind of show you exactly how this works. Another thing I did with Azahar is I stretched the screen out on both the top and bottom. Personally, I don't mind it being a little stretched. It's kind of a hot take of mine. I don't even mind when like GameCube games are stretched to full screen. That's just kind of how I like it. But it looks great. It's not a huge difference at all. I think one thing with a game like Kid Icarus Uprising is on the bottom screen, if you swipe to the side, it pulls up the menu, which can be a little bit difficult. I'm sure there's a way to turn it off, honestly. I've just not gotten there yet. But it does kind of mess you up every now and then. But again, I'm sure there's a way to turn it off. I'm sure there's a setting somewhere I just missed. And I assume due to the screen just slightly stretching, it makes it a little bit difficult to like properly aim where you want to. But it's really not a big deal. I feel like it's just something you kind of gotta get used to. But a game like this in 4 times resolution, it looks so good. It's kind of amazing how clean this game looks when everything is upscaled. Like, look at that. That's amazing. But anyway, some other things about Cocoon before I forget. If you pinch the bottom screen, you can scale how many games you want to be shown down there, which I really like because me personally, I've never been a fan of 3DS consoles and like having one at a time when I have so many apps. So this looks really nice to me, just kind of having everything out here. This folder over here has all my Android apps. I also haven't had any problems with Melon DS yet. However, I do need to test The World Ends With You with what is happening? I do need to test The World Ends With You with a stylus. I haven't started a new save yet, but this is one of my favorite games of all time. And this game literally uses like everything on a DS. So we will get to that one too. Besides that, I do want to show you some more games that I have on here. For PlayStation 2, I have Oni, GoldenEye Rogue Agent, Need for Speed Underground 2, Parappa 2. I have the Winx Club PS2 game because it's kind of good. 007 Nightfire, Midnight Club 3, Burnout Revenge, Automata Lista, Kingdom Hearts, and 007 Quantum of Solace. For each platform, I'm really trying to avoid what happens with every other handheld like this I have, with choice paralysis. I want like a good amount of games, so it's like, oh, just in case I want to play it, but I don't want too many that it like fills up everything. I still want there to be like a good amount of options, you know what I mean? I have all the same 007 games for the GameCube and Automata Lista, mostly because I wanted to see how they would compare visually and emulation wise. I think 007 Nightfire I am still like pretty keen on playing on the PS2, but Automata Lista I kind of just prefer. it on the GameCube. I don't really know. I don't really have a preference. They kind of look the same due to the art style. This is Mario Striker. I don't know why it came up as Virtua Striker. I do have Crazy Taxi. I have Cars for the GameCube. I haven't put a thing on there yet. Mario Kart Double Dash, Twilight Princess, NASCAR, Star Fox Adventure, Star Fox Assault, Need for Speed Underground 2. This one, again, I think I'm gonna stick to the GameCube version. And I don't know why Star Fox Adventure is loaded twice. I've honestly not cared enough to get rid of it. Time Splitters 2, The Sims 2, Mario Baseball, and another Twilight Princess. You know what? Whatever. For the 3DS, I have Animal Crossing, Cooking Mama Sweet Shop, Fire Emblem Awakening, Luigi's Mansion 2, Fire Emblem Fates, Fire Emblem Echoes, Kid Icarus Uprising, Monster Hunter 3 and Monster Hunter 4, Monster Hunter Stories, Style Savvy Fashion Forward, Tamagotchi Life, Pokemon Ultra Sun, and this should be Majora's Mask. And I should also have Style Savvy Trendsetters. You know what? I don't really care enough to fix that right now. I'm not playing it yet, so it doesn't matter. For DS, I have a little bit more games. I have Cooking Mama 3, Bratz Diamonds, Cookie Shop, Metroid Prime Hunters. I'm really excited to see Prime Hunters on the screen. Cooking Mama 2, Digimon World, Magical Star Sign, Kingdom Hearts, not Kid Icarus, my fault. Magician's Quest, Zuma's Revenge. I have all 3 Tamagotchi Corner Shop games. Style Savvy, Plants vs. Zombies, Fashion Studio, I Spy. Both the I Spy games because they're kind of fun. And The World Ends With You. As for PC games, I haven't loaded all of them on here, so I'm actually just going to open the launcher that I use. I have decided to stick with Game Native instead of GameHub. I feel like there's just something a little bit nicer about Game Native. Like I said earlier, I prefer the UI of GameHub, but I found a lot of the games run better on Game Native. I think it just depends what you're playing though. But I do have Ball X Pit, Ballionaire, Bear and Breakfast, Coffee Caravan, Cuisinier, Dave the Diver, Dead Zone Rogue, Dokimon, Fields of Mystria, Going Under, Project Eva Megamix, Mini Metro, Robo Beat, Slipstream, and Tiny Aquarium. I have some other games I'm thinking about trying, like Amber Isle. I'm thinking about also trying out Coral Island. I haven't really played Coral Island in a while though. I feel like I just kind of prefer Fields of Mystria. Farming games are not really my genre, despite me kind of liking games like it. But I do really like Coral Island, so I might try that one out. I'm curious about Fantasy Life, but because it is kind of an online game, I don't know if it has anti-cheat, which I have to check out. Game Native and GameHub, it's like really iffy when it comes to games with anti-cheat, just because you're not actually playing on a computer. So there were some online games I wanted to try, but I kind of just read that they don't really work because of it. So that's something to keep in mind about this. Besides that, not a ton of other games I really want to try that are in my library, but a lot of the games run really good. I dropped my hopefully most played games and just some mobile games on the home screen. So I have Destiny Rising, Where Winds Meet, this is the mobile port. It runs pretty decently. Sky, 007 Nightfire, Star Fox Assault, Minecraft, of course, it's just the Android version of Minecraft, which does actually have the support for shaders. Like, hold up. I was really surprised to see that it automatically had vibrant visuals on, but like, yeah, it just booted up with vibrant visuals, and that is really nice. I like that a lot. I didn't even know vibrant visuals was on mobile yet, so that was really nice to find out. Ballionaire, Cuisinier, Dave the Diver, we've already seen these. I also have Automata Lista on the home screen. I have Century Age of Ashes, which I haven't played yet, but it is like a dragon PvP game. And I kind of love it. I've played it on Xbox. I've tried to play it on mobile with the RG406V, but it didn't really run that well because the 406V kind of sucked. But I have it on here. I haven't tried it yet. And I have Pico 8. Pico 8, I downloaded a Pico 8 native app through someone on GitHub, I don't remember right now, and I just dropped my own Pico 8 file into the app because I did buy Pico 8, and it runs really nicely. I mean, obviously it's Pico 8. Oh, there's an update. As I favorited some of my favorite Pico 8 games like My Chance Sweet Buns, Pieces of Cake, High Stakes, a lot of these cute little Pico 8 games. Stretching it to full screen doesn't work. I don't know if that's something that is probably in the new update. I don't know yet. I did get kind of dogged on for liking Pico 8 stretched full screen. But again, you know, I just have a preference. If I have all the screen space, I want to use it. Besides that, I haven't found myself really using regular like Android apps as much. I have occasionally played music on the bottom screen while I'm playing like a GameCube game. I've yet to join, I have joined a Discord party on here just to see how it is, but I've yet to like actually do it while I'm playing a game just casually. But like I said, Marathon came out and that kind of has all my attention right now. I'm thinking about testing Moonlight, which is just a streaming thing from here to your PC, and you know, because I do kind of want to see Marathon on this screen. But that is my setup as of right now. If there are any updates, I will share. But honestly, this might be, I mean, recency bias aside, this is one of the nicest handhelds I have ever had. Some more thoughts I have after a week with the AYN Thor is the speakers sound amazing, but only if you tweak them right. Yeah, the speakers are phenomenal, but they don't arrive sounding that good. This is something I had to look up about the Thor. It's an app I had to install called James DSP that adjusts the speakers equalizers on AYN devices. There are some videos around it, but trust and believe you're going to want this. The audio paired with the screens is amazing. Both screens are AMOLED and they are crisp. The best, and I mean the best use of the audio with this screen has been Bungie's new game Marathon. Marathon is already about bright visuals and insane audio design, so pairing it with the fresh new handheld with good screens and speakers, it is literally a match made in heaven. This audio was recorded off my iPhone 17 Pro Max, but I think it did a very good job at capturing the sound of Marathon on the AYN Thor. So here, take a listen. Another really good example of the sound has also been the Cocoon home screen. We already took a listen earlier, but here's a little bit more. Overall, this is an amazing handheld. It has all the emulation power you could hope for. It can stream PC games phenomenally, and it can play select PC games very well. A lot of games need a little bit of tinkering, but that's just kind of something to be expected. Of course, mobile games run phenomenal. You can multitask on here like crazy. A lot of people use the bottom screen for walkthroughs when they're playing a game. Personally, I'm a fan of just using it for music and YouTube. Even just watching videos on this screen is amazing. It is so good. I feel like even though there is a little bit of setup that you have to do, this is a handheld that I feel like anyone would love. Obviously, this handheld is already super popular, so people love it. But when you really ask who is this handheld for, it can be anyone. It can be retro gamers, you know, with all the emulation features. It can be for cozy PC gamers, or at least PC gamers that play a lot of light games. Like if you play super light games on your Steam Deck, this is like a perfect alternative for that. Handheld lovers already love it. I mean, mine blends right in with all my 3DS consoles. And I feel like even the most casual people can find a way to love this with what it has to offer. Some more other thoughts is I haven't had any problems with the ergonomics of the handheld. The trigger, again, I've honestly gotten used to. It's, again, not the best trigger ever, but I just don't really care anymore about the trigger. The joysticks feel great. I turned off the light on the joysticks, but that's just a personal preference thing. Something I don't see a lot of people mention is it has rumble. When you're using Cocoon, the console vibrates when you're navigating the menus, and I think that's really cool. I don't think there's a lot of things that really utilize rumble on the Thor, but it's still a really neat feature that it has that I don't see a lot of handhelds really use. I've seen some use rumble, but it does feel a lot nicer on the Thor than like an Anbernic device that has rumble, in my opinion. I know that the prices of the AYN Thor are going up as I'm recording this video, so I don't know how popular the Thor will keep becoming with the price increase. However, the price increase I believe happens in April. So if you are considering getting an AYN Thor, I think it is a pretty good time. Obviously, I highly recommend it. It has been my go-to handheld for the past week. I have been playing many a game on it nonstop. This is definitely a handheld with a lot of passion put into it. And personally, in the retro handheld sphere, I feel like a lot of manufacturers that make these handhelds just make them to make something new. Not too long after the AYN Thor was announced, Anbernic announced their version, which was kind of like a visual recreation of the DS. I'd argue the DSi XL. And Anbernic does make replicas of consoles really well, but the launch of the Anbernic DS seemed pretty rushed. I mean, it wasn't super polished on launch. I've heard there was like a lot of fixes. It can run DS, but it can't run 3DS, which I feel like a lot of people will want to play. And when you're creating a replica of a console, you know, people are gonna want to play the console that it's looking like. So at least it can run DS. But they also released an Anbernic Vita, or are about to anyway, and it cannot run PS Vita. It just looks like one. And I just think that's just how it is. That's just how the retro sphere is. There's not really anything you can do about it. There's not really a problem, but it does get super tiring watching manufacturers constantly just re-release the same thing over and over and over, just under a different look, a different shell. If you didn't know, Retroid and AYN are owned by the same company. They are sister companies. Their consoles often look alike. They don't really mimic other handhelds, but they do sort of release similar looking consoles. I feel like AYN has been a lot more premium with the way that they create their consoles. Same with Retroid, which again justifies their higher price points compared to something like Anbernic or Miyu. So seeing a company like AYN kind of go a little bit further than Retroid did with the Pocket Flip and make a full-on DS that is very comfortable and it looks clean. With the power that it has, it's just really impressive. There have been other DS powerhouses on the market already. For example, the AYN Neo Pocket DS, which was also a powerhouse, but let's be real, it doesn't look as clean as the AYN Thor. The AYN Thor looks like if you took the Retroid Pocket Flip and just gave it a second screen, moved the buttons around a bit, and just made it feel a little more premium. I feel like there is something really special about handhelds like these. So again, if you're thinking about it, I do recommend it, especially before the price increase. The price increase, in case you were wondering, is not due to popularity like some may believe. It is simply about shortages in parts due to AI needing the parts to, you know, continue their bullshit. But that is a whole other ballpark. The AYN Thor is an amazing handheld. I highly recommend it. There are so many videos out on the internet that give you very nice tutorials, easy to follow tutorials on what you need and how to set it up. And it really is not that complicated. I think you just need the time to properly set it up in the way you need. And there's so much more that I have yet to discover about the AYN Thor. However, for now, that is all I got. I do plan on making more videos about it, stuff like travel videos, seeing how well it really works on like a road trip or just a trip in general. So thank you for watching this video. If you were drawing while listening to this video, I hope your drawing turned out great. If you were doing chores, I hope you got your chores done. If you were eating a nice meal, I hope your meal was delicious. I will see you all soon with another video. Bye bye!